Have you heard of the Mahjong craze? Well, this game that has been growing in popularity in recent years, but is actually quite old, is something that has been bringing Marnie and I so much joy for a lot of reasons. One, it's about strategy and using your brain, which we're going to dive into today. It's also really about building community and expanding relationships, which we know is so important for our overall health and well-being and longevity. And so we're going to dive into this today. Welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. We're Marnie and Stephanie, and each week we share grounded, practical tools to help you feel strong, steady, and energized in midlife and beyond. If anyone out there has ever played before or has heard about it, it's probably popping up on your social media feed all the time now because it seems like there are just more accounts, people from in our community locally, but also around the country that are talking about it. And there's even posts I've seen talking about longevity and what we're going to kind of dive into today with why this game is taking off. And so just for a little bit of background, right, Marnie, what is Mahjong? It's like a tile-based game. So if anyone's familiar with Rummy Cube, it's like Rummy Cube on steroids. And that's how the instructor that we had teach myself and some girlfriends early on described it. And you have to create these sequences, so similar but different to Rummy Cube. The key is there's a card that the American Mahjong Association prints every year with different sequences on it. So just when you get comfortable with the card and maybe you start to like get in a groove and kind of start to memorize some of the sequences, it changes on you. And that's, I think, almost the beauty and the frustration with it. The beauty meaning it really helps get you have to think and use your brain and develop a strategy based on these sequences. So anyway,
Well, I was just gonna say, first of all, I love Mahjong, and I went to the game kicking and screaming. So I will say that from the time I was about 5 years old, I used to play with my grandmother's tiles because she played so much Mahjong, and I'd be over there as a kid on the floor playing with one of her old sets and looking at the tiles and seeing the ladies like 1 crack, 1 bam, 1 dot, 1 flower, whatever, dragon, and I had no idea what was going on when I was a kid, but I loved playing with the tiles, and I used to, build things with them, and I love, putting her set away for her, so it has been in my life for a very long time. My aunts play, my mom played, and I remember my mom saying to me, I would be like, "Why do you wanna spend your time playing this game when you could be outside or doing things?" And she'd be like, "When you're older, you're gonna play. You just wait and see." And I was like, "There's no way I'm spending time playing this game," like, literally. And then, when I had little kids, and she was probably my age,
okay.
or maybe I was even in college,
Yeah.
but it was probably between her 50s and 60s where she was playing a lot of mahjong, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is how you're spending your time." And here I am, and my daughter started playing in college a few years ago, and she's like, "Mom, you will love this game. We have to teach you this game." And I was like, I don't know." And then finally I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna learn the game. Everybody's raving about it. I'm just gonna do it." And I, of course, love it, right?
And it's funny because I like games, but I'm not someone who has, like, a regular game night or this, like, ritual. I mean, we play games as a family, but I kinda feel like the last few years it's dwindled a little bit just from a scheduling standpoint. So when people started talking about it, I remember I was turning 50, and I decided that was gonna be my thing. I was gonna learn how to play this mahjong game, and my only memories of mahjong I didn't have anyone that played growing up. I'd never even heard of it probably until, like, the movie Crazy Rich Asians came out, and so a lot of people started, like, wondering about it at that movie, and then I had some friends locally that were playing, and I reached out to this woman who I think you know, and I just said, "Hey, can you teach myself and some friends to play?" And ever since then, that was, like, literally 2 years ago, almost to the day that we're recording this, and it's I don't know, I can't even believe that I'm, like, playing this game and sitting because 'cause I'm not someone that loves to, like, sit still very much, and you're not sitting still, maybe that's why I like it because you're using your brain and
Not in the beginning, though. I'm just getting to the point where I can maybe talk while I'm playing the game. You have to think really hard in the beginning.
you do, and a couple of them the other day were joking because my one friend literally passed a joker, which for anyone who plays, you don't ever do that. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that's what I get for talking." So you figure out when during the game you can have a little side conversation or in between when you're getting it ready.
But it's so good for your brain, right? The first few times that I learned how to play and played, I was thinking so hard. I felt like my brain hurt because there's so much on this little card Stephanie mentioned that you have to focus on. And I know you said every year the new card comes out. Well, I have 4 2022 cards because I must have tried to learn in 2022. And then I never got a card since then until I ordered 2026, which I
Yeah.
don't have yet. So when people come to my house to play, my friends, we use my 2022 card, but when I go to other homes, I'm using the 2025 card. So I feel like I'm like have this extra little I'm not memorizing the card because I feel like I'm using different cards every time I play.
That's a cool challenge though, because I only have 24 and 25, I guess. And yeah, anyway, I mean, you know what's interesting too is my daughter, was it last year, had to do a project for one of her English classes and it was on subgroups. And so she picked my Mahjong group to write this paper on. And it was so fun to read it afterwards. And she interviewed, I end up hosting a lot at my house. It's just kind of a good setup and it's just easy and anyway, I like to play, so I'm always throwing it out there to the group that I started with. So Caroline's just been exposed to it, kind of like how you were exposed with your grandma. And so she wrote this paper on it. And it was really fun because there's a lot of history on Mahjong. And we're not going to get into all that today, but there is history going back many, many years, right? But I feel like this is like in the 1800s, I think, in China, and people played it. And then it had this resurgence. And then I know some friends started learning during the pandemic because they just had more time.
But I do feel like there was a resurgence way before the pandemic with my grandmother's generation. Like all her friends played Mahjong, her whole social network. And I will say she died at 98 and was playing Mahjong until she died. And her friends, sadly, all died before her, many years before her. So she was playing with like 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds. She just like, this keeps me young, hanging out with younger people, playing the game. She was pretty sharp until she died. And so
I think it's so great. And that's a good point. You can play intergenerationally. Like sports and other things that we do, it's harder to do when there's a 10, 20-year age gap potentially. But this game, it's all up here, right? And you do have to focus and you do have to use your brain. And that's where it gets into like neuroplasticity, which is why I think this is so fabulous. And, a lot of times I do it at night and sometimes you're a little bit tired, right? But guess what else? It gets you off your phone and scrolling because you cannot be on this when you're playing Mahjong.
and we're women in midlife, right? And so that brain stimulation is so good for us and recognizing patterns and using our executive function skills and our memory skills. And even once you get more advanced, you start to pay attention to other people's hands and what they're doing. And then there's even more strategy. And I just want to talk about the culture for a minute, Stephanie. I don't know how many different groups you've played with or if you're kind of playing with the same people. But I've started to realize as we have kind of a core group, but sometimes someone can't come and then someone comes and fills in or whatever. There's a lot of different culture. Like some people are really strict, they have certain rules. Some people are like, oh, we don't use the close, we don't use the C, the closed hand. I think that was you actually. And I brought that to my group and they're like, no, we can't do that. Like we need to have that there. And I'm like, okay. Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I did play recently with a group that I had women. I just showed up. I took a spot of a friend of mine who was out of town because there's a lot of these little pop-ups that
yes.
so people will sign up for so many sessions and it was nice. It was just like a kind of a fun thing to do in the middle of the day, which I don't normally do. And I thought I had mahjong and oh no, I didn't because when we play, we just and I guess we've started doing this when we first started learning. A closed hand just means you can't expose any tiles. And we don't play that way, so you could pick the sequence and still have some tiles exposed,
But you also can't pick a tile up.
unless fromage.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I learned a lesson, right? And it's good because you also can't get too, like, complacent either with this game, I feel like, because it's always changing, and everyone has sort of different rules or just ways that they play or traditions, and so the other thing about when you play with other people you don't know is there's not as much talking. So there's more playing and less talking, right? Where if you're playing with your closest friends, there tends to be more chit-chatting.
But it's such a nice way to get together with your friends, especially like in the dark, cold winter evenings.
Yes.
You're not sitting in a restaurant, maybe drinking. It's not about the food and the alcohol, though everybody does put out really fun snacks.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us have been drinking during Maj. We often in the winter, we come, in our comfy, cozy clothes after dinner. And it's really nice. Play for a few hours and then everyone goes home.
Yeah, yes. I actually ended up playing last night, last minute, and I was like, "Okay, this is gonna be super casual, very minimal snacks, wasn't gonna put on any wine or anything. Come in your sweats, come in your PJs, whatever. Just it doesn't need to be a big production, and I like that it isn't about the food or the drinking, right? It's like something else to do, and, Mari and I talk all the time about, yeah, going on walks and hiking and, physical activity, but it's nice to just not be doing that also. The other thing fun in the summer is I've played outside, like, I have a little card table and I've put it outside as long as it's not too sunny, And that's really nice too in the evenings so that you can be outside and get some of that sunlight versus being inside. So
This episode is brought to you by Good Health Saunas, your key to relaxation, rejuvenation, and better health. If you want to feel better in your body every single day, infrared sauna therapy is a powerful tool. It supports detoxification, immune health, muscle recovery, better sleep, and even healthier looking skin. And honestly, it just feels incredible. I absolutely love my Good Health Sauna and use it regularly. My husband does as well. It's become a part of our weekly routine, especially after our workouts or long days when we just need to rest and unwind. Good Health Saunas offers a commercial-grade infrared saunas with a lifetime warranty and exceptional customer service. Their team walks you through everything from selection to installation, making the process simple and seamless. You can visit their stores at the Mall of America in Minnesota or in Appleton and Waukesha, Wisconsin. Head to goodhealthsaunas.com and mention the Art of Living Well podcast for your exclusive discount. Well, and I've seen all these like pool Maj tables popping up on my Instagram where you can be like sitting in the pool playing Maj, which I think is so funny. But I think it'll be really nice to experience Maj in the summer because I really haven't yet since I really started playing this fall. But I've also noticed specifically in Minneapolis, and I'm sure this is everywhere, that there are like all these Maj circles popping up and like places. I'm seeing things on Facebook and Instagram and places you can go and just sign up that day and play Maj. Or I know this woman that just started a Maj circle where she sent out this huge form and asked for people to say what times they could play. And then she's like, there's no commitment. Just sign up and come when you can, whatever. And I think it's amazing because you're meeting new people, you're in community, you're out of your house, you're using your brain. There's so many pluses to it.
100%. And interesting you say that. I have a friend who was going to be for 6 weeks. We live in Minnesota. So she was going to go to California. And she's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? Her husband was still working. So she found some of these circles and met up with women. And she ended up meeting these two women who were, I don't know, 20 plus years older. So getting into the generational. And they started talking after. And now she's playing. I think it's like Ethel and Nina, their names. And one's from New Jersey and one's from somewhere in South America. And she's bonding with these women over Mahjong and having a great time. And so for people out there that are moving to different cities too, or maybe you're spending a month or two in another place and you want to meet people, just get online and start looking, like Marnie said, at the different Facebook or Instagram groups, because it's a way to instantly connect with someone over a common interest, Mahjong, and then get out there and socialize and use your brain. And the other thing we haven't talked about is just like the creative element of it, because these tiles, I have to say, a lot of them are beautiful. And so it's fun and they all look differently. So it's not like when you play Rummy Cube or like a kind of a regular game, everything looks the same. There are so many different colors and patterns, and then there's these beautiful mats. And
I love my mat.
I know I love my mat too.
Yeah, I have my grandmother's set, which is very special to me. So they're actually like the tiles that I probably played with as a kid, although she had 3 sets and 2 of my aunts have them and then I have one. And I don't love, she has like this bright yellow briefcase that the set comes in, which I don't love, but I'm keeping it because it was hers. And yeah, it's fun. But I do love seeing everybody's sets because they are so different. And a lot of people that I play with too have sets that were handed down to them. But then I have a couple friends who got them on Amazon and those are really cute too.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because it's like an heirloom almost. Like
Right.
you have your grandmother set. It's like jewelry or other things that you would pass down. And so now you have her tiles. So it's funny because I'm like, oh, I kind of want to get another set. I got a set for my birthday for my family a couple years ago. I was like, oh, but if I have another set, that's just one more set I can pass down to my daughter or my kid. Like, I want my boys to learn too.
Yeah. Zach and Jordan play.
Yeah. See, I want to be able to play with my family where I'm not just depending on my girlfriends to play. And there's travel sets. So I know a lot of people have travel sets and they'll bring it with them on vacation.
I need to get a travel set.
Yeah, that's next on my list.
Because it's kind of big, like my Maj set and the mat and everything. It's like a lot. What I really love about it is I'm in the moment. I'm literally not thinking about anything else.
Yes.
It's like when I'm hiking or doing something outdoors. I'm like so focused on the card and the game and the people I'm with.
Well, you kind of have to be. I mean, as soon as you get distracted, even for 1 second, you're going to miss something because the game's going to keep going on and you're going to miss potentially an opportunity to pick up a tile. Or I think it just allows you an opportunity to sit still and focus and be present, which for me is huge. And even if I'm sitting and watching TV or a show, I'm likely doing something else on my computer or maybe my phone's nearby. This is one of the few activities that I can do this. And I feel like when I have to go to like a dance class, like Leslie Fima's dance class that we went to, I can't think about anything else because this is not like a game that you can just kind of half play.
Right.
You have to be all in and focus or you're going to just miss out on an opportunity.
And I will say in the beginning, it can be frustrating because there are a lot of rules and it's complicated, right? Like it takes some time to learn it and it's a little overwhelming. And I remember thinking, oh, am I ever going to be able to like play? I'm not fast at this point, but I will say I've won a few times the last few times I've played, which feels good. I'm like, okay, it's clicking. So that feels really good. But it takes some time before it clicks.
Absolutely. There were a ton of rules. It's very overwhelming. I mean, that's why there are lessons. Like at our community center, there are teachers that host lessons, and you need, I mean, I would say like 4 lessons we probably had. And even then, you're barely like proficient or anything. And you're always just continuously learning, which I think is also really important to do as you age, right? So even though you may play this game forever, like your grandma played for a long, long time, but because the cards keep learning and there are so many rules and nuances, I think that just really helps activate your brain. Spring is the perfect time for a reset, and our next Vitality Reboot starts May 3rd. If your body's been feeling sluggish, inflamed, or just off track, this is a simple and supportive way to boost your energy, reduce cravings, and get your digestion back on track without extremes. We focus on real food, liver support, balanced blood sugar, and nervous system regulation so that you can feel clear, steady, and energized again. It's perfect after a vacation or before a trip to help your body stay balanced while you're away. Can't join live? Our Do It Anytime version is available year-round. So head on over to the show notes and join us today. Let's step into spring feeling strong and energized.
So I was taught by a really good girlfriend, and she taught a group of us, and she is like really organized and knows all the rules. And she ended up making each of us this laminated card with some photos, front and back,
Oh.
which was so awesome. I have it with me every time still because the dealing is also like a whole production, and it's called the Charleston. And so it was so kind of her to do this, and I feel like I really got a great foundation, and then if I forget something, I have my little card to look at, which is awesome.
Okay, I want to like snap a picture of your card because I think that would be super helpful.
I told her she should sell them on Etsy because
I would buy, everyone would pay $5 for it or whatever. I
yeah.
don't know. You would just something.
Mhm.
I would take that even now because I'm sure I don't know even close to all the rules.
So if you've been curious, you should definitely try it. It's worth your time. Reach out to us. Maybe we can help you find a beginner group, or I still consider myself, I don't know. I don't know when you become intermediate, when you're considered at the next level.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be playing in any tournaments anytime soon, Marnie. So,
I don't even have an interest in playing in a Maj tournament at this point.
but I'm just saying that we joked about it because our instructor plays in tournaments. And so we just always laugh like, oh, when we're playing in a tournament, when we're like 70 or something.
But I do want to be playing in my 90s.
Absolutely. And I'm very inspired by your grandmother, who, by the way, we interviewed a very long time ago before she passed away.
Yes.
So I wish we would have known about the Mahjong. We could have talked to her about it back then.
Neither of us were like into it
No.
then.
It wasn't even on my radar at all. But there's just so much, I don't know. I just feel like like you said, it's a stress relief for sure. It's something to look forward to. I think that's the other thing for people that are feeling a little lonely out there. Get something on the calendar. And sometimes it's hard to make plans, or in the evening too, when that tends to be like sometimes more quiet, or in the winter, it's dark and lonely. Have Maj on the calendar, even once a week or a couple times a month. It brings me joy. It brings you joy. And I think a lot of it is just the connectivity and doing something that uses your brain that allows you to be present. That's analog. It's funny because all these kind of analog type activities are popping up more between Mahjong, and a lot of people are doing needlepoint and just other, it's like we call them like grandma activities, but I don't know. And it's satisfying too. Like if you win a game, especially your first game, you're like, oh,
I took a picture of my first time I won because I was so excited. I sent it in my group family chat because everyone plays in my family. I was like, I won. It was so fun.
Well, it was so fun because a friend of mine who I learned with, and she just isn't able to play that much. Like she's just busy with her kids and everything. So we played last Thursday night and she won for the first time. And she actually didn't expose any tiles. We're like, wow, how did you do that? And she was so happy. We took a picture of her. So yeah.
So, but learn something new. It doesn't have to be Mahjong, right? Like you can just trying and learning something new feels really good, and it's really good for your brain. So I know I have a lot of friends now playing canasta, which is I guess it's even more difficult than Maj. I don't know if your friends are playing canasta, but
No.
I'm like, okay, I'll get there eventually, but right now I'm going to focus on Maj.
Right. Exactly. And people also play Maj online. I haven't. There is an app.
Oh, I've tried.
And I've heard it's good, especially when you're learning.
So the first time I tried, I was sitting on an airplane. I thought, okay, I have a few hours on a plane. I'm gonna do this. I didn't bring my card. You must have your card. I was like, oh my gosh, how can I do this? I was so annoyed with myself. And then I did it again. The only thing is it's really little on your phone. If you have an iPad, it's probably better. I had my phone. I didn't love it online, not gonna lie, but maybe I didn't use the right app.
Yeah, I tried once too, and then I quit because I was like, "I'm not gonna pay for this," and you have to have your card with you, so that's kind of
Yeah,
a weird thing, like, if you have downtime, "Oh, I have to bring my Maj card with me."
right.
I'm also not a gamer, like, I do not play any video games, any games, like, I know that's a thing and
I
people
don't
play
either.
different games, and so I think that's part of it for me, and I think part of the reason why I love this so much is being around other people, and you're not around other people when you're on your phone playing.
I will say I'm following all of these Maj accounts on Instagram that give you tips. I don't know if you're following any of those.
Yeah.
And I have learned some strategy that way that I wouldn't have thought of on my own, maybe. And since I didn't take formal classes from, like, my friend that taught us really didn't teach us a lot of strategy. It was more about how learning how to play. And so I do think if you are new or wanting to learn, you should go on Instagram and start following some of these Maj accounts.
Yes, I think that's helpful. I mean, I've seen a few things, and we try to share some of the tips we learn, like, in our little group,
Yep.
because, I mean, gosh, we learned 2 years ago, and we just really learned the basic. You can't learn the strategy when you're learning the basics the first few times.
Right.
So it's almost like I would benefit from, like, another lesson, like an intermediate lesson that was more strategy.
I think you could find it all out right online. There's tons of YouTube videos too.
Yeah, I'm not good with any of that. I need the sign up, sign me up for something, have it be in person. I'm not someone that just goes on YouTube and watches a bunch of videos. I mean, I know that's a lot of people's jam and that's great. So, anyway, like Marnie said, learn something new is the whole point here, that you're not on your phone ideally and you're engaging your brain and it's bringing you joy and hopefully you're connecting with other people too because we know that is a huge part of overall longevity and well-being is just having those relationships. And this is an activity that you can easily build relationships.
So, yeah, reach out to us and let us know. Are you playing Maj? How's it going for you? What's your favorite thing about it? Or
Yeah.
is there something else that you're wanting to learn that you've been putting off? And let us know. We want to hear from you.
Yes. And then don't forget our Spring Vitality Reboot is right around the corner. It's going to kick off on Sunday, May 3rd. This is the 7-day Vitality Reboot. We did 14 days in January. And honestly, spring is the perfect time, even going back to like traditional Chinese medicine. It's just the perfect time for the liver to be cleansed. And it's a great reset after maybe your spring break travel and before the summer kicks off. And we love doing it in community with you.
And yeah, it's been a long stretch since our 14-day detox in January. So we'll all be very ready for this one in May.
Yes, and we'll link all the details up in the show notes. So check it out if you are curious. We've talked about it on many other podcasts. Reach out to us, DM us with questions, and we hope that you will join us.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Living Well podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps more people discover our show.
And if you're ready to take your health and happiness to the next level, we would love to support you. Whether it's through our transformative group programs, personalized coaching, or functional medicine lab testing, we help uncover the root causes of your health challenges and unlock your vitality.
Visit www.theartoflivingwell.us to learn more and book a free discovery call. Until next time, keep creating your art of living well.